Okay, time for lesson 6.3, equations in parentheses. Your I can statement, I can solve two-step problems. Make sure you get that written down and we'll move on. All right, so let's take a look at this first equation that we have. We have 12 divided by 4 in parentheses plus 2 equals n. So what two equations does this problem include? Well, it includes division and addition. To solve the equation, which operation is done first? Well, division is done first. Why? Well, it has to do with order of operations. You may remember from earlier in the year we talked about, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So what that stands for is parentheses and exponents must be done first if they come in an equation like this one here. Since I have parentheses, I have to do the stuff that's in the parentheses first. Then comes multiplication and division, then comes addition and subtraction. I would like you to write this part down in your writing notebook just write order of operations at the top, and then write down these. If you want to write down the saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to help you remember, that's fine too. Okay? So, 12 divided by 4 plus 2 equals n. I have to solve what's in parentheses first. When I do that, I get 3 plus 2, which equals 5, so n equals 5. Now, technically speaking, you really don't even need parentheses around this problem because division would have to be done before addition. But what they're trying to do is get us in the habit of understanding how to use parentheses in problems to separate out what we're going to do first and then what we're going to do afterwards. In this next version of this problem, you can see that parentheses are essential because if I didn't have them in there, I would divide first. But because I've got the parentheses, they tell me I have to do what's in there first. So when I do that, I get 12 divided by 6, which equals 2. And in this case, n equals 2. All right. In this next section of problems, we have to put parentheses in to make these true. The answers are all correct. What determines for us what answer we're going to have is where we put the parentheses. So in this first problem, I know that 9 take away 6 is 3. If I divide that by 3, that's going to give me 1, so that's where my parentheses have to go. Now, by process of elimination alone, I can tell that the parentheses got to go in a different spot. They're going to have to go around the other numbers. A good rule of thumb here, too, is if you're not sure, put them around a set of numbers, solve it. If it's wrong, move the parentheses, okay? So in this case, 9 minus 6 divided by 3, well, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. Let's look at the next one here. 20 divided by 5 plus 5 equals 2. Well, I know 5 plus 5 is 10, so if I divide 20 divided by 10 would be 2, so that's where my parentheses would have to go. Again, if you're not sure, you just try the parentheses out. If you're wrong, shift them. This one here, I've got 20 divided by 5 plus 5 equals 9. So 20 divided by 5 is 4, plus 5 is 9. For these 4 problems over here, I'd like you to pause the video and jot them down, and then come back, and I'm going to go through these, but I want you to see if you can figure out where all the parentheses go before you press play again, okay? And I'm going to go through the solutions now. So I know that 4 times 2 plus 1, I'm going to have to put the parentheses around 2 plus 1, because that's going to be 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And again, by process of elimination, I know that 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and my parentheses have to go in a different spot. In the next problem, they go around 8 times 2 because 8 times 2 is 16. 16 take away 16 is 0. And in the last problem, they're going to go around 16 and 8 because 16 take away 8 is 8. I multiply that by 2 and I get 16. How about a word problem? It says Mark goes to the store and buys 1 eraser for 59 cents and 6 pencils for 15 cents. How much does Mark spend? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the equation with the numbers that I have. So when I do my equation, it looks like this. Well, since I've got multiple items and a single item, and the multiple items I'm going to have to multiply to get my answer, so that's where I'm going to put my parentheses to make sure I do that part first. Again, not entirely necessary because multiplication would have to be done before addition, but that's the purpose of this, is to understand where to put the parentheses, okay? When I multiply that out, I get 59 cents and 90 cents, and I add that together, and n equals $1.49. Okay. What about this one? Vanessa buys 12 notebooks for $1.75 and a marker for $1.59. How much does she spend? Okay, my equation is going to be written out just like it is in the problem. Because I've got multiple items and a single item, I'm going to do the multiplication first. So I'm going to multiply. When I do that, I get 21 plus $1.59. My total here is $22.59 is how much Vanessa spends. Dylan buys 8 book covers for 90 cents each and 1 pen for 49 cents. How much does Dylan spend? Well, here's my equation again. I'm going to write it out just like it is in the problem because, again, I've got those multiple items. That's where my parentheses are going to go. When I go through and solve this, I end up with a total of $7.69. Now, I want you to try this one. I'm going to have you pause the video. You don't have to copy down the word problem. Please don't. All I want you to do is write down the equation and solve it. All right? So go ahead and do that, and I'm going to keep going. So the equation for this problem is going to look like this. I've got 105 rows with 45 spaces in each row. That's multiplication. 105 times 45. It says a special permit is required to park in 630 of those spaces. How many spaces do not require a special permit? So I'm going to have to figure out all the spaces I've got, take away the ones that require a special permit, and then it'll give me my answer. So when I do that, put my parentheses around there, I end up with this equation, and as I go through and solve it, I find out that there are 4,095 spaces that I do not need a special permit to park with. Okay, here's your practice problem. I apologize, there are some mistakes in here, but I didn't catch them until just the first time I went through this, and I didn't have time to fix it. So this part down here should not be there, so you can just go ahead and get rid of that. Oh, my pen did not want to work for me. I don't know why that's the case. We'll go there. And this should be trees, not tress. This should also be trees. But once we get that figured out, we're good to go, okay? You need to write an algebraic equation with parentheses, okay? An apple orchard in Michigan has 8 rows of 26 Honeycrisp trees and 14 rows of 23 Red Delicious trees. How many Honeycrisp and Red Delicious trees are in the orchard, okay? So there's no guided question or problem to create for this lesson, and that's it. We'll see you soon.